Project 2025 is a startlingly authoritarian form of the U.S. government.
What is Project 2025?
An ultra-conservative agenda.
The fascist playbook.
Project 2025 is a new paradigm.
Trump has distanced himself from Project 2025.
Trump is Project 2025.
The two words. Project 2025.
November 5th, 2024 is the day when the fate of the U.S. presidency will be decided. These elections are undoubtedly the mega event of this year.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025.
Every candidate participating is laying down all the cards on the table to win, and Donald Trump is not holding back either. Today, I'll show you the secret tactics Mr. Trump uses to become the next U.S. president. Number one, Project 2025. Since the talk of these elections has spread all across the world, one word has also emerged on the trending: Project 2025.
You might have heard about Project 2025. It's the handmaiden-esque conservative plan to reshape the federal government under the next presidential administration. It was created by the conservative think tank, the Heritage Foundation, and has deep connections to the Trump administration. But of course, it's so sweeping and draconian that even Donald Trump has had to try to attempt to distance himself from it.
Well, if you don't know what this infamous-looking doomsday protocol is, then here's all the detail you need to know to understand it. The ominous-sounding Project 2025 is yet another initiative, or should we say a plan book, by America's one of the biggest think tank, the Heritage Foundation. It's basically an entire blueprint for the coming year, containing all the country's future plans under the presidency of the one and only Mr. Trump. Yes, the project has mainly chosen Trump as the president, even though there are other candidates as well, like Kamala Harris.
He and his extreme Project 2025 agenda. Can you believe they put that thing in writing?
Trump is trying to distance himself from it, claiming,
"I know nothing about Project 2025,
but
I disagree with some of the things they're saying.
Yet,
I wish them luck.
And curiously,
I have no idea who is behind it."
Moreover, one of its main purposes is to reshape the federal government and strengthen the executive branch, reflecting the priorities and policies favored by conservative factions within the Republican Party. Now, this is basically Trump's mega plan, which just indicates how prepared and sure he is that he will win the coming election. In addition to political agendas, the project includes many other controversial policies, which we're about to shed some light on. Let's say Trump becomes president once again. According to this project, one of the first things on his agenda will be dismantling most of the mega agents, such as the DOJ and even the FBI. If that's not worse enough, immigration is going to become way more strict and nearly impossible thanks to heavy military involvement. Social policies will also face a significant change. Things that were once legal will become illegal if our happy old Donald Duck gets on the seat. So, Project 2025 is basically a full-on instruction manual for the next president, who has also been predetermined by the American think tank. Now, there is a catch about this entire situation, which we will discuss later in the video. Number 2, Russell Vout's secret recording. Regarding the entire controversial Project 2025 situation, recently leaked footage has been surfing the internet and news channels.
Secret video captured on hidden camera of one of the architects of Project 2025.
We begin today's show with a new undercover video that shows the co-author of Project 2025.
These videos were secretly recorded inside a room where approximately 3 men, 2 of whom had their faces blurred, while the third one was an iconic figure, Russell Vout, who was engaged in a private meeting. Russell Vout has officially been playing a big role in Project 2025.
Formerly a cabinet member and chief lieutenant in the first Trump admin.
I want to thank Russ for doing an incredible job.
He now runs a group called Center for Renewing America.
But after the release of these recordings, a massive controversy has sparked between him and Trump, which may even affect their close relationship.
An organization that I helped turn into the Death Star that is accomplishing all the debates that you are reading about. I think you have to rehabilitate Christian nationalism. You have the largest deportation in history, block funding for Planned Parenthood. I want to be the person that crushes the deep state.
One of the key details in the recordings is that Vout boldly claimed that Trump had blessed Project 2025 and expressed strong support for its goals. This clearly indicates that Trump is not only open to all of these controversial plans, but has also been heavily involved in creating these policies. These videos have spread like wildfire because Trump can either gain a ton of support for presenting these bold policies or suffer a massive backlash, which might even lead him to a humiliating loss. But the question is, are these really leaked recordings? Well, considering how well-mannered and planned out this entire Project 2025 thing is, it's hard to imagine that these people can make such a foolish mistake. What if this is just another Trump scheme to get more attention? Well, before we jump to conclusions, let's discuss the next topic, because that is where things actually get confusing. Number 3, Trump's denial. Russell Vout claims that Trump has personally blessed their Project 2025.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025.
In fact, he's in full support of them, but Trump himself has a completely different story to tell. During a debate, Mr. Donald clearly stated, without buts or excuses, that he has absolutely nothing to do with Project 2025. This means he neither read the book nor fulfilled any claim, as the beloved Vout described in the leaked videos. Now, that is mind-boggling. One party confidently admits that Trump is in on the plan, but as soon as the word goes out, he publicly claims no ties with this agenda. In fact, Trump even went as far as characterizing Project 2025 as the work of a group of people who got together. He admits that some ideas are actually good, but others just don't meet his standards and are very ridiculous, which they are indeed. These denials were in reply to Kamala, who heavily criticized Trump for being involved in the project. If he wins, it will be a detailed and dangerous plan for American history. Aside from that, Trump even made his words clear through social media by saying that he knows nothing about this whole situation and doesn't know who's behind it, even though Russell Vout, one of his close companions, has been strongly involved in it. Moreover, it's also known that this project is actually the work of 140 individuals who served in Trump's administration, so it would be mediocre to say that Trump didn't know about it. Maybe these denials were also pre-planned. Who knows what these government geeks are up to? Number 4, shadow foreign policy. Another possible and quite shady strategy Donald Trump is using to win the election involves a ton of foreign involvement.
With just days to go before the presidential election, 9 days, it's becoming increasingly evident that former President Donald Trump is running a shadow foreign policy.
That's because he's been accused of running a shadow foreign policy that can significantly affect U.S. domestic politics and international relations.
Is the administration at all concerned that he appears to be running a shadow foreign policy while campaigning for president against the incumbent administration?
And so look, I'm going to give you the same answer that I give to Amr here, which is, as we know, it's one president at a time. That is how we do our business here in this country, as you know very, very clearly.
According to ongoing news, it's believed that Trump is in regular communication with foreign leaders, including Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who's been suspiciously seeking advice from Trump on various issues. This just shows how much influence he has even after leaving the office, and it will increase significantly more after he wins the election. Aside from Israelis, Russian President Mr. Putin has also allegedly been contacting Trump through phone call, but Trump denies these accusations. But no matter what is said, the U.S. intelligence agencies actively believe that Russia is on Trump's side, and it'll be more evident as soon as the elections officially start. Considering Trump's involvement in foreign matters, it's also worth mentioning how, right before leaving his seat in the 2020 election, he was willing to use military power to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons of mass destruction. These actions raise concerns about the integrity of U.S. foreign policy under potential future Trump leadership. And if he does return, a few things are bound to happen, like a significant reduction in Ukraine's aid against Russia, more aid to Israel against Palestine, and way more aggressive towards China, the only capable rival of the U.S. Are we getting into another world war? I hope we're not. Number 5, Heritage Foundation. Ties, which we've already told you everything about Project 2025 and how Trump completely denies his association with it.
Man, what a pleasure to see so many great American patriots out in the audience. How many of you are ready to very steadily, calmly, peacefully take our country back?
But that's not how it is, because the Heritage Foundation, the primary group behind this 1,000-page blueprint, has ties with at least 140 individuals who previously worked in Trump's government.
And we found at least 140 people who were authors or contributors had prior experience working for the Trump administration. Now, this includes people who rose to the highest levels of his government, including 6 people who served as cabinet secretaries.
These individuals include former cabinet members and senior advisors who came together to create a 180-day action plan for Trump as soon as he takes off. From mass deportations to deploying military forces for domestic law enforcement, everything will start happening in a matter of days. As the election nears, this topic remains a focal point of debate, as it's a crucial matter that concerns U.S. democracy and civil rights. Number 6. Training video. Aside from a how-to-play manual, Project 2025 also delves deeper into the training of the executives and political appointees as soon as Donald's round 2 begin.
Presidential candidate Donald Trump's trying to downplay his connection to the plan, and last week, Kevin Roberts, head of the influential right-wing Heritage Foundation, postponed the release of his Project 2025 book until after the November election.
The project includes a series of training videos, estimated to be about 23, containing approximately 14 hours of content. The videos are from the Presidential Administration Academy, which teaches strategies for maintaining a stable government through various strategies while addressing all crucial political matters. One of the videos that became quite popular over the internet involves Bethany Kozma, who's a conservative activist. She, along with co-trainer Katie Sullivan, talks about numerous topics, from language to climate change, personal strategies for the appointees, and much other stuff, to basically create a pre-planned situation for the new presidents. The level of planning and seriousness happening behind the scenes seems quite scary, to be honest. I bet nobody has been this prepared even before the elections began. This just takes things to a whole new level. Number 7. Connecting with faith leaders. Aside from all the complex political agendas, Trump has taken a much more effective route to secure his position as the new president, and that is by connecting with faith leaders.
Well, the campaign trail is on fire. With just 8 days before Election Day, both candidates know how important it is to win here in Georgia, so they're both zeroing in on the Peach State.
On October 23, 2024, at least 1,000 faith-related people gathered at Christ Chapel in Zebulon. The event allowed Trump to ensure the religious people that whatever he does as the new president will be in their favor of defending religious freedom. The hall was filled with Trump supporters. In fact, he may have significantly increased that supporting number through this event.
Week on Wednesday at the Duluth location, it was my very first time attending a rally. I did not make it in, so I knew I had to come.
The attendees went as far as chanting Trump and Jesus all together, assigning their allegiance to him. While we're on the topic, it's worth mentioning that Trump isn't the only one who thought of the genius idea of connecting with religion, because Kamala Harris is also pursuing the same strategy. Harris has also been actively connecting with Christian voters, particularly within the Black church community. She visited churches in Georgia and many other places to gather all the people who would support her against her competitor. Both candidates are making final pushes to gain more votes before the elections finally begin. To make matters more interesting, Trump even sat down and took questions from major faith leaders at the National Faith Advisory Board National Faith Summit in Powder Springs, Georgia. Let's see what his efforts bring to him. Number 8. Trump's fundraising effort. In this legendary race, Trump is going all out. He'll do anything to win, even if it means gathering or spending millions of dollars for his campaign.
I'm here today with a message of hope for all Americans. With your vote in this election, can you imagine 7 days?
According to Donald Trump's fundraising efforts in September 2024, he raised a whopping $160 million, which is a significant achievement. If we talk about numbers in September, he raised over $30 million compared to August, when he raised only about $130 million. He achieved this goal through contributions from his official campaign, joint fundraising committees, and the Republican National. According to statistics, 96% of the donations were under $200, while on average, he received $60, which indicates his strong grassroots support base. Thanks to these fundraising achievements, Trump's campaign now has a total of approximately $283 million to make the final impact on the voters during the final day. But you'll be surprised to know that Trump's numbers are way behind Kamala's, because her campaign raised around $361 million in the same time period. Now, that's very concerning for a man who planned out everything. To mitigate this massive gap, Trump must do something out of the box. He needs to conduct more of these events and make more racial comments to gain as much funds as Kamala. Talking about racial comments, you'll find out about that in a minute. Number 9. Media strategy. From Logan Paul to Joe Rogan to the literal Undertaker, Trump has left no podcast on which he hasn't appeared yet. And to be honest, it's actually a genius move, as the younger generation, which doesn't like to get involved in political stuff, watches podcasts.
The concept, it was really like two different lives. You know, I had a very wonderful life, but I wanted to do this. The Apprentice was still going very strong. We had 12 seasons, and we had actually 14 seasons, 12 years over. They had a couple
Well,
of
they
them.
canceled The Apprentice when you were running for president, correct?
So, by appearing on these internet shows, Trump continually spreads his mission among the politically disengaged voters. As I previously said, Trump actually appeared on the wrestling podcast 6 Feet Under, hosted by Mark Calloway, the one and only Undertaker. This was a special opportunity for both Mark and his show, as it was the 100th podcast, celebrated by having the possible President of the United States, Donald Trump, as a guest. Trump sat down on a relaxing sofa in a cozy environment with a bunch of chill guys who had a strong fan base. Now that everything is going as planned, everyone watching the podcast is solely focused on Trump and the words that come out of his mouth, which won't go unnoticed and will bring a massive change in voting. Always on par, Vice President Kamala Harris is also doing the same, appearing on popular podcasts such as Call Her Daddy and numerous other shows to engage with a younger audience. You really start to feel the power of the internet when even politicians start to use it for their own agendas. Number 10, Square Garden Rally. Now comes one of the most mega and controversial events ever conducted in the history of U.S. election, presenting you the Square Garden Rally at Madison Square Garden on October 27th, 2024. It's an infamous rally that was conducted at the same place where once pro-Nazis stood in 1939 in support of Hitler. If the place wasn't controversial enough, the rally was attended by probably the most racist American. The environment was very tense. From vulgar insults to racist remarks, everything was being said, which later spread like wildfire all across the world. Immigrants and political opponents were threatened to live on camera without censorship or sugarcoating at all.
To ask people to imagine the Oval Office, people have seen it on TV, you know what it looks like. It's either going to be Donald Trump sitting behind that desk, writing out his enemies list of who he's going to seek revenge and retribution on, or it's going to be me working on behalf of the American people, as I always have done, working on my to-do list to see through these policies that are about home ownership, lifting up our small businesses, lifting up families with children, and lifting up the discourse in a way that it is not about trashing people all the time.
Comedian Tony Hinchcliffe opened the rally with all the racist jokes he had inside of him, without holding back at all, which mainly targeted the Puerto Ricans, referring to them as floating islands of garbage. All the Trump supporters cherished this moment as someone finally came to say racist things that no one else could. The speakers at the rally even called Kamala Harris the Antichrist, even though the ones who spoke looked no different from the people at the notorious Nazi rally. Number 11, endorsements from influential figures. Influential celebrities have massive fan following, and if you have them on your side, your opponent will have a hard time bringing you down. Donald knows it's important, and that's why he has secured the support of many influential figures, such as YouTuber/boxer Jake Paul. Jake released an entire 18-minute-long video discussing all the statistics and numbers, encouraging his viewers to make the right decision. He can't vote in these elections, mainly because he moved to Puerto Rico to pursue his boxing career. And even though during the rally when Tony Hinchcliffe joked about the Puerto Rican, Jake tried to gaslight the situation and indirectly asked his fans to vote for Trump. Conversely, the famous female rapper Cardi B stated that she would never turn Republican. The Terminator Arnold Schwarzenegger is basically on neither side, but to pick the less poisonous one, he chose to endorse Kamala Harris. The American astronaut Buzz Aldrin is cheering for Trump in these elections. But the most intriguing one is 50 Cent, who literally turned down $3 million to perform at a Trump rally because he feared the political agenda. This also indicates that these leaders might have heavily paid these celebs to be on their side. Things are heated, and celebrities encourage their fans to vote for the person they love. Guess people still don't have voting freedom. Number 12, Muslims supporting Trump. Now, that's very odd. Muslims in Michigan are shaking hands with Donald Trump, even though he's the person who deployed numerous Islamophobic policies during his reign. Well, to keep the facts clear, not every Muslim is on Trump's side, but those who are have reportedly explained their reasons. Trump has made countless controversial statements up until now.
That in Michigan, the largest state with Arab American population, has now just endorsed Donald Trump for president.
But according to some sources, Muslim voters believe his policies align more with their interests compared to other parties. Muslims will also be made sure to have more opportunities and business growth once Trump becomes the president. Some even believe that the new policies in law enforcement might bring a positive change in society. But one of the primary reasons is the situation in Gaza, which Trump has promised to handle much better than Biden did. But these are just talk and promises until they're fulfilled. Number 13, immigration policy advocacy. One of the the main differences between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris is the immigration strategy that both parties present to voters. According to Kamala's policy, she wants to make immigration much easier. She wants to reduce illegal migration and turn it into an effective pathway for citizenship for undocumented immigrants.
Back in Pennsylvania, with its prized 19 electoral votes, some have wavered, but will probably vote with their wallets.
However, Trump, on the other hand, is just the opposite side of the coin. He has strategized to build a wall along the southern border and significantly increase the deportation. According to him, that will enhance economic growth and national security. The clash between the two is quite massive, and it is for the voters to decide which policy should be implemented by selecting the right president. Number 14, targeting swing states. Trump is strategizing at his best to regain the trust of swing states such as Michigan and Pennsylvania. But thanks to the big brain move at the Michigan rally where racist jokes were made, Puerto Ricans are very angry. In fact, they have boycotted Mr. Trump.
Incredible, amazing, it was electrifying. The place, everybody was on fire.
You know, there could be a red wave coming through. You never know, we could be another swing state.
This is actually quite a massive loss for the Republicans, as over 5.6 million Puerto Ricans live in the U.S., and most of them are on Kamala's side. Now, what tactic must Trump use to regain that trust, which was significantly worsened in just one night? I guess only time will tell. Number 15, AntiTrans Ads. Aside from being quite provocative towards the Puerto Rican, the Trump campaign has not left the trans community in the dark. To gain further American attention, he invested in advertisements that specifically targeted transgenders, shedding light on how bad of an influence they are on the newer generation. The ads have gained both popularity and declined among voters because, according to newly set standards, this topic is considered quite sensitive. With this tactic, Trump is either trying to get more anti-trans supporters or is trying to win the elections without the support of the trans community, as it might be a disgrace for him. Either way, it's something that triggers a great portion of people living in America. Number 16, Elon Musk on the team. You know you're on another level when Elon Musk is ready to financially back you on your election campaign. Elon is a major Trump supporter and has donated millions of dollars to his campaign, including the very recent one, about $43.6 million on October 16th. He's Trump's second biggest financial backer, giving off more than $118 million up until now.
With the Trump presidency, we're going to get secure borders, we're going to get safe cities, we're going to get sensible spending, we're going to get deregulation.
Musk's substantial financial support could significantly impact the upcoming election, but these bold donations have started to affect Musk's fan base, who do not favor Trump. So it's a big risk for Musk, but he has way too much money to worry about. Number 17, leaked email. These leaked emails, tweeted by Tara Palmieri, have revealed some shocking insights into what's been going on inside Trump's campaign. The tweet was posted within 61 days of the election, and good God, the campaign managers, Chris LaCivita and Susie Wiles, are panicked. The emails read that managers were issuing warnings to their team to avoid speaking to the media to prevent potential leaks that could affect the campaign. Well, they definitely did fail to avoid leaking their own email. The campaign clearly is trying hard to maintain control over the workers and explicitly refrains them from saying too much that might cause trouble. Guess there is tension among the Republicans, especially when, on a daily basis, some new controversy targets them. They're not always the ones pulling the string. Number 18, Trump assassination. Surprisingly, the attempted assassination of Donald Trump in Pennsylvania, involving William M. McGowan, has also somehow boosted Trump's position in these elections. The incident gained massive media attention, and numerous internet personalities shared their concern. Of course, this attempt made Trump a kind of hero who was trying to be silent, while all the criticism went to the security, who couldn't stop the shooter, even though he was lying down on a roof at a very evident place. In response, Trump's campaign has implemented significantly stricter security measures, aiming to prevent any future threats. Anyone who enters these event venues is carefully examined from every inch. Some very notable personalities are also present there, along with many civilians, so their security is a major concern. Hopefully, such an incident will never be repeated, allowing the election to proceed without further disruption. After all, it only takes a gunshot to start a world war. Number 19, the Ukraine scandal. The Trump-Ukrainian scandal is yet another allegation that accuses Trump of pressuring pressuring Ukraine to conduct an investigation into his rival, Joe Biden, and his son, Hunter Biden. These demands were allegedly made through phone calls back in July 2019, when he threatened to withhold military aid if Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky didn't do as he said.
If the allegation is found to be true, it could be a breach of the US Constitution, electoral law, and federal bribery statutes.
The incident led to a prolonged inquiry, which resulted in Trump being free of any charges in 2020. The scandal now raises massive concerns about the election, because it's possible that foreign interference in U.S. elections has occurred, which questions their honesty and fairness. If these allegations were actually true, then Trump, being a ruthless politician, would straight up threaten his neighboring country for his own agendas. Now, that's pretty darn sick. At this rate, his rivals should never underestimate him, as they never know what he's been hiding under his sleeve. Number 20. Who would win? Now, let's answer the big question. Who would win the 2024 United States presidential election? Well, considering all the key metrics and predictions, the odds are pretty even, but fortunately and unfortunately for some, these odds tilt slightly toward Donald Trump. It's believed that Trump will win 51 times out of 100 times, while his rival Kamala is said to win only 48 times. It seems like all of Trump's secret tactics are working, as people really are in his favor. The gap is minimal, with only a difference of 3 figures, so you never know what will happen in the future, especially when there are still a few days left before the election. Both parties are heavily engaged in their campaign, and they need to address a number of controversies, from leaked footage to extremist plans for the coming year. The fate of the U.S. is in the hands of the American, and all these politicians can do is encourage you to vote for them. Choose wisely. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the bell icon for more exciting content. Please let us know in the comments below whom you'll be voting for in these elections and why you picked this specific candidate. We would love to hear your thoughts about that. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.